Hi there, this is Linda and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of April 22nd through April 28th, 2024. And this is also the week that I documented Week in the Life, so I'm having a little bit of fun with this one. Let's go right ahead and dive in. Week in the Life. And Week in the Life is actually one of my favorite weeks to document in Project Life because I have an entirely separate album documenting the entire week. I have not yet completed or shared my Week in the Life album, at least at the time I'm filming this video. So I don't have that I haven't done that yet for this year. I'm going to instead document it in Project Life first. But I do have a setup and plan video out there, so I will link that one down below for you, and you can go check that one out if you're curious how I'm going to be documenting Week in the Life this year in a separate album. That said, I still include it in my Project Life album, and I tend to do something a little bit fun because that entire week is fully documented elsewhere, so I can just have fun with it. I don't need to capture all of the stories. I don't need to include all of my favorite photos because I have another place to document those. Instead, I want to make a nod to the week. And I've done some fun things in the past, but this year what I decided to do was I got these cards that were from the Quarterly Scrapbook Kit from Ali Edwards this was the Daily Kit. So this was, I think, the fourth quarter of last year. And for this one, there were multiple sets of 4x4 cards. I think they were actually on 12x12 papers and you had to crop them down, but there were two sets, and one of those sets I had used, or I put aside to use in my Project Life album. In my Week in the Life album. But the other set, I didn't know what to do with it, and I wanted to use it in here because it has this repetitive Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday design. That said, these are 4x4. I'm doing 9x12, and I talked a little bit about this in the last video because the last one I was doing the back side of this with also the 4x4s, but I wanted to find a way to fit 4x4s into my 9x12. So what I did was I modified some page protectors that were actually 12x12, and these originally were from Becky Higgins. They were design K, which has 3 4x4s across the top and the bottom, and then 4 3x4s across the middle. I cropped them down to my 9x12 and then stitched along the edge to create 2 of these page protectors for this week. So I have all of those already slipped into the pockets. And then what I did was I went through my Week in the Life photos and I pulled out some of the ones that told the story the best. So these weren't necessarily my favorite photos from the week, but they were ones that told the story. So they were things that happened this week that were memorable. So the biggest thing was my boss of the last 10 years retired. So I took a photo with him on his last day, and another coworker retired and we had a little party for her. So we took a photo of, actually the two of them both retired and he retired all on the same day, which were all people that I worked with for a very long time. So it was kind of a big deal. So we took some photos and I went out to a movie. I redid my spice organization, my spice drawer. I think it actually goes like this. The tulips were blooming, and then I just pulled one that was just an everyday life photo because it was Week in the Life, and that is kind of the type of picture I capture in Week in Life and no other time in the year. So I also was thinking about what to do with these, and I considered leaving them empty, but I also considered making confetti pockets. I considered printing tiny photos or something, but these are 1x4. And what I decided to do is I pulled this over, and this is a piece of vellum that was from the April Stories by the Month. And basically I'm just gonna crop some 1x4 strips and slip them in. Hopefully this will fit, let's see. And I might have to make it a little smaller than 1x4. Yeah, that looks like it's gonna be a little too tight. And these are just going to show through on both sides. And they're not necessarily going to coordinate with each spread, but they are going to be able to kind of just fill this little gap and, I don't know, make the page fill out a little bit more. So you'll be able to see them the week prior and the week after. And I kind of thought about what would coordinate. So the week after this, the week before this, I worked with this kit, which was the April Stories by the Month kit. So obviously it will coordinate perfectly with that kit. But the week after, I'm using some Cocoa Daisy. I'm not sure it's gonna coordinate perfectly, but I think it will be good enough that it's not going to like look weird. And that's really all I'm going for. So I'm just gonna flip these over so I can slip them in and get these strips in here as kind of a starting point. And then I'm not sure I'm going to do much embellishing on my photos, if any. I honestly like just kind of want this one to be very simple and formulaic. If you've watched my Project Life or like looked at a lot of my Project Life spreads, you know that I do really love the formula approach, but I also love mixing it up. And so every week it's different. And so for this week, I'm going purely formula, strip of photos across the middle, and then these. So what I'm thinking of doing for these is maybe stamping like a large word and then just like a bullet list of things. Or actually, you know what? I might just make a list of things that happen in like this large bold marker, because I have journaling in my Week in the Life album. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and slip these in already. Like this is gonna be a super simple spread. Should I put some embellishments? Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna slip these in. I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward. I'm going to add some simple journaling on each one. And with this marker, so I have to slip these out. I got to put the dates on my title here. And then I'm going to maybe look and see if I have some like chipboard in my stash to use up, just to put a couple on some of the photos, but not really anything too much, because keeping this simple. Like I said, this is more just having fun documenting this week in here, because in reality, this week is fully going to be documented in my Week in the Life album. So whatever's in Project Life is just extra. If you are curious in how some other ideas for documenting Week in the Life in your Project Life album, if you are like me and do both projects, or were unsure about participating in Week in the Life because you thought it might be duplicative, I did share a look back at all of my ways that I documented Week in the Life in Project Life in one of my old Project Life process videos when I had done Week in the Life. So I will link that one for you guys down below as well, if you're interested in checking that one out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get this one put together. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.